If you want to know how to reach me, then you definitely need to listen to this episode, the next one, and the one after that.
Gorgeous, baby. You're gorgeous.
This is the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. The show that everybody's talking about. The show that will become a necessary part of your weekly mental diet. The show that picks up where JoshRolfe.com leaves off. The show title that uses the word podcast 4 times. Introducing your host, Josh Rolfe.
So yeah, if you want to know how to reach me, then listen to this episode for sure. The next episode, you'll learn even more about how to reach me, and the one after that, you will continue to learn more about how to reach me. It's not going to get boring. It might get boring. It might get boring. I use the term to reach. I use the reach out, reach me, reaching out. I noticed today in an email, I always reread my emails because I want my emails to look good. If it's just the flowing of my words as I type, if I send it like that, then I'm bound to have some errors in there. So I've learned with time in my career that I need to review my my emails. So I had listed reaching in some form or fashion twice, which is a no-no. You don't want to say something that's a little out of the ordinary twice in an email unless you're trying to do that for some sort of effect. Well, I know I said in this new way of doing my podcast that I'm not going to just pontificate for 5 minutes before going into the topic. But this is important because there are some people that reached out to me, and therefore reached me. They not only reached outward, but they got there. The intended effect was accomplished. They reached me through iTunes. How cool is that? You can reach me through iTunes by giving this podcast a review. You can rank it and not write anything. Just give it 5 stars. That's all you have to do. Or you can go above and beyond, as some have done. And there are 17 reviewers so far who have gone out of their way to type something. Do you know how much that means to me? I'll talk for hours at length into this microphone by myself. It's hard sometimes as a consumer of audio, we forget how it was actually made. And it's really pathetic. The way these things are made, like when you're listening to a DJ, except they actually have staff around them. Most podcasters you listen to are just like sitting at home talking to themselves. Do you get that? All right. So I've been begging people for reviews for a long time. I've been just begging. So this is good. I haven't had a review since November or so, and I've been begging people. I got a brand spanking new review from Shante. That's how he or she spells their name. And the subject line says, "Gorgeous, baby. This is the first podcast I've spent more than 5 minutes listening to. I like the latest plans to have a consistent show each week. I also like the advance notice of what future episodes will be about. Clever and funny. Keep it coming." Wow. That was a wowzers review. Hearing Shante say not only that this is their first podcast, so Shante, I am very, very, very happy to hear that you have spent more than 5 minutes listening to my show, and that's the only one you've given more than 5 minutes of your time, and that you think the show is clever and funny. I'm not even trying to be clever or funny. And it's just, you're getting that it's clever and funny. Well, I guess I label it as a comedy show. Okay, you've outed me. I'm trying to be clever and funny. Keep it coming, they say. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I also was begging those who had given me a 1-star review to give me a 5-star review. And B Mama, who, if you remember, I devoted like 3 or 4 episodes to B Mama, and she even appeared on the show, and she has now changed her 1-star review. She was one of the loyalists who actually listened to me and gave me a 1-star review, changed it to 5 stars, and added in her review that it is a necessary part of my weekly mental diet, she says. She is so funny. I really like B Mama. Smurf Dog updated their review after I saw Smurf Dog at a karate lesson performance from our children, because I know Smurf Dog. And before, his review said, "Ask and ye shall receive." And this time he added ... never mind. So thank you, Smurf Dog. Thank you. And then Lightning, my 1-star reviewer, who is JB the Antite, I call him, in a previous episode, where he wrote a very fascinatingly interesting email. He has a very unique way of writing, and so I thought he was British. And turns out he's not British. He's actually American. So I forget what state he lives in. And he wrote me a very lengthy email, which I will not read here. I might save it for another time. It was very uniquely written. Has almost a British way of writing, very formal way of writing, but also very funny guy. And he wrote "Anti for Life" and updated his 1-star review to 5 stars and wrote, "Sadly, the true anti-review has moved on to a better place. An approximately 2.8 megabyte field on a flash drive far, far away." So thank you, Lightning. Another great review. Thanks for updating. I was averaging 4-star reviews. Now I'm at 5 stars. I have 24 reviews. 24, that's pretty cool. My first 17 to 20 or so were in the first 6 months of the show, and we're going on 2 years now. So it would be nice if I started getting a little more uptick in reviews, but I don't want to pressure you. I don't want to force you, because I know that's the way to turn people away. And I'm not going to turn you away. Okay. I need you here. So I have, my majority of 5-star reviews. I have 3 4-star reviews and 1 lingering 2-star review, which is hilarious. And I would not recommend that anyone change that. So thank you again. You guys are awesome. And now I'm going to go into the Reaching Me podcast. So how to reach me, part 1. And I should warn you, because this podcast contains a film script, what I will describe also as a still image of a text message flying through the air, and my zero tolerance policy for a surging salutation trend used in email. I say this now only because the part about when my phone is stuck under the driver's seat is rather long. But if you keep listening, you will learn a lot about how to reach me. The best way to reach me these days is by text. It's as close to an instantaneous way of getting in touch as being physically present, grabbing my attention, and then showing me a poster with words on it. The beauty of the text is how it is delivered right to my phone, which is almost always in a pants, shirt, or jacket pocket, or on my desk, or on the kitchen counter, or over the river, or in my bag, or through the woods. The phone is rarely anywhere else, so if you text me, your transmission of characters will hurl through the wires and air until it hits my phone, which will be located in one of those places. One thing is for sure, there is a 64% chance I will get your text right away. And if you're trying to reach me, those are pretty good odds that you'll actually accomplish your goal. Now, if you've ever seen the antenna of a cellular transmission line, they're all over the place now, every country of the world. Just about anywhere that has people has a cell tower. That is what my texts look like before they reach you or before you send yours that reach me. Now, I'm going to distinguish between texts. There are the active texts and the passive texts. When I drive or am walking in a parking lot or staring in a trance at the screws in Home Depot aisle 12, 3 things I did today. I cannot guarantee I will see your text as soon as you send it. Okay. I'll most likely see your text, but I won't always think to reply immediately. In other words, all too often I will not actively see your text. Instead, I will passively see your text. I forget texts I receive passively. I forget them as soon as I passively view them. For instance, if you text, Josh, can you meet up at 7 p.m.? And I passively read it, I simply will not respond to you because it's already gone from my memory. Just like that. Let's say the next day you see me and you ask, didn't you get my text? And I say, oh yeah, I meant to write back. What should be said in situations like this one is, oh yeah, I passively saw your text, which means I completely forgot about it and therefore failed to respond. I share this with you so you will know how to react when confronted in this way in the future. Let's be more honest with one another. So in texting me, don't be too honest. So in texting me, take into account whether I am actively or passively seeing your text. You've got to time it just right because timing is everything. When actively texting, I tend to like to have the last word. For example, you write me, I write back. You write, I write, etc. until I write and then you don't write back. I always have something to say to close it out, even if you've made it clear the conversation has ended. This is not intentional. It's just me passive-aggressively wanting to have the last word. But it's something I've noticed about myself, and I have little intention of actively changing. So now there's the text that is about the little, this isn't going to make sense, but just follow, keep with me. You're going to learn so much right now. There's the text that has to do with the little door handle thingy area that doesn't have a name. Okay? I now turn to the little door handle thingy area that doesn't have a name. It's the part you grab when you're closing the car door. I've owned several cars in my lifetime, and I think it's been in most of them, except for 1 or 2. The little door handle thingy area that doesn't have a name is the place wherein resides my phone when I am in the car, or sometimes when I'm not and I forgot to take it out with me. It is also the place wherein resides my wife's bobby pin, which has been there for years. It's the same place wherein my phone doesn't quite reside comfortably, so if I open the car door too quickly, the phone may fall to the pavement below and crack and need a screen replacement. In addition to the little door handle thingy area that doesn't have a name, the phone also finds itself in the cup holder or seat or sometimes my lap. The phone is rarely anywhere else. And how about this? Brace yourself, because I'm about to explain the most frustratingly frustrating problem I have ever encountered in every car I have ever owned in my entire life since I've owned a cell phone. And that is the text received while my phone is under the driver's seat. Okay, so you try to reach me, but what if I can't reach the phone? Has your phone, like mine, ever fallen under the driver's seat? When the phone is under the driver's seat, monumental effort is required to retrieve it. I try to slip my hand in the tight areas on either side of the seat or even underneath the seat, but there is hardly enough space to get in more than a few fingers. Even then, I can only reach underneath the driver's seat up to my second knuckle. Since the phone is impossible to reach while driving, I've tried. I have to park the car in a safe area, and this is where you'll need to refer to the Hollywood script that I will talk about in a minute for why this is important. So I have to park in a safe area, get out of the car, kneel on the ground, and twist and contort unnaturally with head under steering wheel, trying to see the phone in order to get my hands to the right place underneath the driver's seat. The place with the best chance of retrieving my phone. And I have to do all these things at the same time. I am not a multitasker, even though I put that on my resume early in my career while patting my head with one hand and rubbing my stomach in circular motions with the other, because that's what everyone was doing at the time. They were writing resumes while patting their heads with one hand and rubbing their stomachs in circular motions with the other, all so they could say that they were a multitasker. I have learned so much since then, just one thing at a time. But yeah, dropping the phone under the driver's seat, it's frustrating. It's like everything going dark. My phone equals my life. So here I find myself searching for my phone. My temples pressed firmly against the bottom of my steering wheel. My eyes straining to look sideways, but not being able to look sideways enough. My hand probing as much as I can underneath my car seat when all of a sudden, my mind tricks me into thinking the tips of my fingers have discovered something resembling a phone. And instead of grasping my impossible to reach phone, I find relics from my children's past. It's like a precious time capsule of an event in history when my kids were with me in the car. The object may have found its way there during an outing last week, or it could have been there from an October 2nd, 3 years ago. But no, nothing precious is found. Instead of finding sweet reminders of memories gone by, it's the crushed Happy Meal toy part or the perfectly preserved Skittle. Dropping my phone under the driver's seat would make for a suspenseful film scene. Remember, I was just talking about that? Imagine the protagonist. He needs his phone during a high-stakes situation. Let's say a hungry prison escapee happens to see this guy. Ooh, maybe he's a cannibal. Let's call the guy Josh. Not the cannibal, but the guy that's in the high-stakes situation here. He's searching for his phone, which has fallen under the driver's seat. And here is a short film that I call Reached, written by myself, based on the wildly popular podcast episode and blog post called How to Reach Me, which was a blog post on the equally wildly popular JoshRolf.com. Based in California, phone number 555-1212. Outside parking lot at night, a strikingly handsome man in his late 30s frantically tries to search under the car driver's seat. Josh's knees shift on the gravel, his bloodied fingers reaching for an object. A long, eerie shadow creeps slowly towards the car. What was I thinking? Driving to this abandoned warehouse was a crazy mistake.
You're out of luck. You are in my control now.
I just need my phone. I need to call for help. I just need...
You will never get your phone. It's under your driver's seat.
Josh's fingers failed to find the phone. You're wrong! This can't be happening! I'll find it! I'll find it! You then see under the car seat. It's a tight shot with fingers continuing their search. The phone is propped against a broken pencil, near 18 cents in change, and to the left of a half-eaten chicken nugget. All at once, fingers stiffen and then disappear when you hear Josh fade to black. The end. What I'm trying to say is if you need to reach me, I need to be able to reach my phone. That concludes part 1 of how to reach me. Stay tuned for more. Part 2 coming up. Woohoo! The God and man parts of this show will probably have to be postponed. Until next time. Well, I'll probably wait until after the how to reach me whole shenanigans go down, and then I'll do the God and man parts after that. Thank you for listening. Please rank and review my podcast. Please rank and review my podcast on iTunes. That would mean the world to me. That is my payment. It comes in the form of rankings and reviews, not dinero. So please do that, and stay tuned for How to Reach Me Part 2. Yeah!
Thank you for listening to the Josh Podcast Show, the anti-podcast podcast on God and man. For more information, visit joshpodcast.com. Follow Josh on Twitter at Josh Rolfe. That's Rolfe, R-O-L-P as in podcast, H. Now go and have the best day and night ever. And have fun.